Purple parts only challenge, 1 run. 10 large arcs destroyed. The value climbs past 200,000, and that's exactly where everything starts to fall apart. To make this work, every kill had to be deliberate. Every couple of minutes, I was destroying a large arc. Bastion, Rocketeer, Leaper, Bombardier are fast to kill. They drop high-value loot, and they spawn often. I chose Spaceport. It has open view, high arc density, short distances between arc spawns. Perfect conditions for chaining kills and stacking value. You'll see how the value kept growing, up to a peak of over 200,000 credits, and then something changed. After a certain point, the total value started going down, until I made a completely fatal mistake. But more on that later. I started by heading to a location where a Bastion almost always spawns, right next to container storage. While running there, let me explain the loadout. I ran Anvil as my primary weapon. 6 heavy caliber rounds make it perfect for quickly clearing small arcs. For bigger targets, I bought a hull cracker from the shop, along with 72 rounds. It's a cheap and reliable way to take down arcs without overinvesting. I also bought 12 Wolfpack charges, crafted from explosive parts. They're essential for Rocketeers and Leapers because of their mobility. Using the hull cracker on them can be slow and ammo expensive. Since my goal was to maximize purple arc drops, this setup gave me the best balance between speed, cost, and efficiency. For mobility and sustain, I brought 10 adrenaline shots to move quickly across the map, 10 cheap bandages, and 5 shield rechargers. I wasn't planning to take damage, but I wanted maximum carry capacity without losing mobility. That's why I used Looting Makey 3, Cautious, 70 kilogram base, 80 kilogram total capacity, 24 inventory slots, and a light shield. Both Anvil and Hull Cracker were fully upgraded. I don't have resource limitations, and higher weapon performance directly saves time per arc. Normally, I run a suppressor on the Anvil to reduce noise and avoid pulling extra arcs or players. This time, I only had an extended barrel, so I went with that. As for the Hull Cracker, I bought the most expensive parts available. They don't add much value, but since this wasn't an expedition and resources weren't an issue, there was no reason not to. Instead of using Hull Cracker and spending expensive ammo, I switched to the Anvil to deal with Wasp and Hornet. Fighting them in a quite open area cost me extra time and healing resources. If I had simply kept firing with the Hull Cracker, the result would have been significantly better and faster. The first Bastion dropped only 3 purple parts, that's the minimum. On the next Bastions, the drops were better. I noticed a pattern. The later in the round you kill Bastions or any other big arc, the more parts they usually drop. It's not guaranteed, there's still randomness involved. But overall, the trend was clearly there. After that, I moved on to the next targets. Spaceport makes this easy. You can see the sky clearly, so Rocketeers are visible instantly. Leaper spawn areas are easy to read as well. While moving between spawn points, Bastions or Bombardiers, I kept scanning the sky and the ground, looking for the next kill. A second ago, you saw the mistake I made. I threw a Wolfpack from too far away at a Rocketeer. The missiles never locked on. The charge was completely wasted. This was the first time I confirmed that the distance exceeded the actual tracking range of the homing rockets. From this point on, I made one adjustment. I always closed the distance first, so every missile would reliably hit the target. The player shouting, "No, no, no," probably had his own plan for that Rocketeer, but I had a different objective, so I ignored the warnings and committed to the kill. With my karma being high, at that point, I wasn't worried about getting shot. I took down the Rocketeer and looted it without any issues. In separate video, I'll break down how karma actually works and how you can use it to shape very different gameplay experiences. If it's already out, you'll see it as a recommendation on screen right now, or linked below this video. And if it's not out yet, feel free to subscribe. It's coming next. If you enjoy this kind of content and this format, a like really helps. And let me know in the comments what you'd like to improve or change. Your feedback directly shapes what I do next on Arc Meta. From a distance, I heard a Bastion firing at someone. I moved toward the sound. In this game, audio is one of the most important information sources. It tells you what's happening around you long before you can see it. One major downside of looting purple parts only is tracking where you've already looted. It's easy to lose orientation and open the same spot multiple times. The parts don't disappear, so there's no clear visual feedback that a location is already empty for you. After I cleared the area and noticed another player moving through, I used voice chat and explained that I was collecting purple parts only. I politely asked if he could share any purple part he found. He dropped the part and ran off. When you shoot a Hornet with the hull cracker while it's facing you, it usually takes 3 shots to kill. That made me curious. If I catch it while it's flying and hit it from behind, can I kill it faster? And it turns out, yes. From the back, it goes down in a single shot, just like a wasp. Which actually makes sense. Those extra 2 hits are basically the armor doing its job.
Hey, Raider!
Next, I checked the spot where a leaper most often spawns near the extraction point. It wasn't there. That meant it was time to rotate back to the part of the map where I started. Most likely, a new Bastion and a new Rocketeer had already spawned there. And on the other side of the launch shafts, there's another spot where a leaper can spawn as well. The fastest way to get back from my current position was the zipline near the launch site. Unfortunately, there was no leaper, but I could hear a Bastion, so I moved toward the sound. I don't like fighting Bastions around the rocket cargo trucks. It's an awkward spot. You have to circle them for too long. The best position is near the small metal containers. You can switch sides quickly, keep changing cover, and take the Bastion down much faster. But with the timer running out, instead of waiting for it to move, I decided to fight it right there. In this case, another raider looted almost all the purple parts. Only one part left for me. He suggested extracting together, but I had a plan. I thanked him and kept going.
The safe window is closing. You have 10 minutes to return to Speranza. I repeat, 10 minutes.
This was the highest point of the run. My total loot value peaked at just over 200,000 credits. From here on, it only went down. Even during the setup, I knew there was a trade-off. Fighting aggressively with wolfpacks while avoiding cheaper ammo means you're effectively trading money for loot, and not always at a good rate, especially since I wasn't looting everything. But my priority wasn't efficiency. It was killing as many arcs as possible and stacking purple parts.
We have ARC on screen. 5 minutes left. Go find a way home. I repeat, 5 minutes.
Using expensive wolfpacks wasn't a problem for me. I craft them from blueprint, and the actual my cost is much lower than the value shown in my inventory. Even so, at this point the loadout was still solidly in profit. After the next Rocketeer, my total stayed above 201,000 credits. With less than 5 minutes left, that was the moment I should have stopped. I should have extracted. That was the peak. Time was running out, but chasing just a few more purple parts, I decided to push further, and from that moment on, everything started to fall apart.
Head home at the west elevator.
Less than 3 minutes left. The Rocketeer was still alive. To kill it fast, I would have to spend a significant amount of ammo and money. On top of that, this specific location, near the red building, I had never fought a Rocketeer there before. As it turned out, it's actually a very good spot for fighting a Rocketeer. But at that moment, I didn't have the time to figure it out. This was my first attempt there, and it made the fight much harder than it needed to be. I think the real reason I pushed it was experience. I've finished runs successfully in the last seconds many times before.
Window is closing.
so I believed that I would make it back in time. But objectively, the remaining distance was simply too large. I didn't make it out. So what's the takeaway? In a single run, you can kill a surprisingly high number of large arcs. 4 Bastions, 4 Rocketeer, 1 Leaper, 1 Bombardier. And overall, it's a very interesting experience. At the same time, filling all 24 inventory slots with purple parts only is extremely difficult in solo play. In most cases, it makes sense to mix in other valuable items to keep the loot more balanced. And one rule stands out clearly. If there's less than 3 minutes left, don't push forward. I've killed Rocketeers right next to the extraction point many times before and exited safely. But this time, it moved away. And that made all the difference.